The Marxist ideology is an abomination. Listen to Elon Musk talk about it.
Quite niche and geographically constrained. So now you have to say, well, what philosophy let kind of right the ship of San Francisco? If you've walked around downtown San Francisco, right near the FK Twitter headquarters, it's a zombie apocalypse.
That's what the liberal left-wing mind virus does. It destroys their mind. It destroys their ability to relate with objective frameworks, so they end up walking around drug addicted like zombies, homeless. But at least they're virtuous. At least we're virtuous because we have high taxes.
I mean, it's rough. Have you ever been in that area?
Not lately. No.
Yeah.
I've heard.
It's crazy.
I've heard it's crazy. I've heard you really can't believe it until you actually go there.
You can't believe.
I want to say something. The left is enraged by the fact that Joe Rogan is talking with Elon Musk. I'm going to channel their ideological madness for a second so you can understand. Okay. They're both white men. They're both rich. They both have influence. Therefore, they're bad. They're not engaging with our group identity, Marxist presuppositions, so they must be bad people. They are harmful predators. They're calling us out as not adhering to objective frameworks. So that exposes us. We are infuriated by the fact that we're exposed, judged, and analyzed in accordance with objective parameters. They're infuriated by this conversation, and that's why I said earlier that ecosystem of the radical left wing. It's not just an echo chamber. It's more like a hive mind of degeneracy. Their hive mind of degeneracy has no room for anyone that their ideology demonizes. That's why their ideology must be eradicated.
Until you go there.
Beaten with truth.
So now you have to say, well, what philosophy led to that outcome? And that philosophy was being piped to Earth.
Literally.
So
that's literally what it was. Twitter wasn't even a for-profit company. It was losing money every single year. It was employing random woke, LGBTQ diversity hires and having them eat cereal all day, sitting in beanbag chairs. That's why Elon Musk fired 80% of the company and productivity went up.
Philosophy that would be ordinarily quite niche and geographically constrained, so that the sort of the fallout area would be limited, was effective.
Leftists are so enraged by this that you can refer to their ideology having a fallout radius, like Chernobyl radioactive site. That's what their ideology does. It not just kills, perverts, distorts, destroys. I happen to see screenshots of these insane lunatics on Twitter. Oftentimes they're pulled from other cesspools like Reddit or Discord channels. The things that these people type, the things that these people say are evidence of the most depraved psyches that exist on the planet. The most unhappy people in the world are undoubtedly leftists. They're not terminal patients. They're not people living in Syria. The most unhappy, depraved, insane, mentally, psychotically destroyed people that are alive are all leftists. Because that's what their ideology does. It's like the Chernobyl wasteland.
Given an information weapon, information technology weapon to propagate what is essentially a mind virus to the rest of Earth.
That's what they have.
And the outcome of that mind virus is very clear if you walk around the streets of downtown San Francisco. It is the end of civilization.
And it's not just
the end of civilization, virtuous. At least they're billionaire hating. At least they hate the oppressors as they walk around like zombies addicted to drugs. At least they're part of the woke group. Would you rather be a part of that, or would you rather be in a Christian neighborhood where people mow their lawns and go to church? What would you rather choose? Remember what Orwell wrote. He wrote the final command of the party, and Orwell was talking about the leftists. You can definitely tell that these days. The final command of the party was that they had to ignore what their eyes and ears told them. Not only does the left demand that you ignore your eyes and ears when you look at their disaster-stricken ideological zones, they get enraged when you hold their ideology accountable. They call that oppression. They call it discrimination. You're automatically a bad person if you do that. That is what's so toxic. That is what is even worse than the Marxism we saw in the 20th century. Because the 20th century, virtue was relegated to those of a certain economic group. But now the counterfeit virtue in today's Marxism is given to any person that denies reality in any way whatsoever. Oh, I'm black, so I must be oppressed. George Floyd was a hero. Men in the patriarchy, the reason I'm not earning any money, even though I went to school for gender studies to hate the world and to hate men. Now I'm working at Starbucks part-time.
Propagating the mind virus, but suppressing any opposing viewpoints.
Yes. Well, in order for the virus to...
Right, it didn't stop there. They actually colluded with the federal government to suppress speech of any people that the federal government disagreed with. By the way, doesn't that sound like it's a violation of something, I don't know, called the Bill of Rights? Oh, that's interesting.
Propagated must suppress opposing viewpoints. So...
Because it doesn't stand up to scrutiny.
Correct.
It's insane.
Yeah.
You've...
It's so insane that these people think they can call themselves the good guys and get away with it. It's arrogance to the nth degree. It's narcissism to a level you can't fathom. It's the narcissism of believing you have default virtue as a result of adhering to an ideology.
Felt the virus. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. People will try to cancel you so many times.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Cancel you. Oh, you're not a good person. You're not as good as me. So we have to take away your ability to feed your family. And by the way, in Canada, you know what we're going to do as well? We're going to shut down your bank accounts. Madness. And they call themselves the good guys.
I don't think you're melodramatic at all. I think
It's not melodramatic when it's literally like a grade report for the left-wing ideological presuppositions. Well, here it says that you have to hate men. Here it says you have to resent capitalism, which means you resent the only mechanism of value creation known to mankind. Here it says that if you're a black, you're automatically better than anyone else. Here it says that if you're a woman, then you're automatically better than all men. Here it says your ideas aren't based on the intrinsic merit of the thought. Instead, it's determined by your group identity. Oh, what did you say? Just kidding, it doesn't matter. What's your skin color?
I mean, I don't want to be melodramatic, but it's almost like a death cult.
It's a death cult. No, that is exactly right.
Yes, it is anti-humanity. They do want to end civilization.
It's essentially the extinctionists.
Yes.
Like, it's in the limit. It is that they're propagating.
There's a reason why there's the agenda to depopulate humanity. These insane leftists are saying there's too many people on the earth. They are the definition of evil. Exactly who do you think doesn't deserve to be here?
The extinction of humanity and civilization.
Because you consume too much carbon, you should be eradicated. It's insane. Bro, is it just me because I grew up having an optimistic mindset where I just loved humanity and was solution prone? When I hear that there's like a shortage of an energy, I think, how can we fix the problem through engineering and inventions? Not there's too many humans alive. How depraved you have to be, but they're already depraved.
And there's some people who are like most of the time it's implicit. They don't but sometimes it's explicit.
Right.
Like there was a guy on the front page of the New York Times who literally has the thing called the Extinctionist movement, and he was quoted on the front page of the New York Times as saying, "There are 8 billion people in the world, but it would be better if there were none."
Ooh.
And I'm like,
that's pretty much the most evil thing you could write, and it's on the front page of the New York Times. And undoubtedly, he's a leftist.
well, buddy, you can start with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about that?
Does he have friends? That's what always fascinates me.
Well,
Here he is.
that guy.
Of course, dude. The flannel shirt, the leftist destroyed face. He definitely votes for. I wouldn't even say Biden. That's more like a Bernie Sanders type vibe.
It looks like you're not long for this earth.
So bad. This is the type of guy that is resentful of Andrew Tate. This is the type of man that is resentful of winners that are enjoying their lives. He's never enjoyed a day in his life. He may be broken from childhood.
Voluntary human extinction movement. That's hilarious. I'd like to party with that dude. I would just like to
That's an explicit version of the death cult.
Yeah, maybe
the extinctionist
live long
cult.
and die out.
It's not
Right.
The extinction is
They sometimes come out and say the quiet part out loud. It happens. I see it on Twitter where I just saw a tweet recently that had like nearly 100,000 likes that said, "We have to put Donald Trump in jail to shut him up." And they literally said that out loud. Someone typed that and then it had 100,000 likes. And you think to yourself, okay, they are admitting that it's about political persecution. They are admitting they're corrupt. They just are so narcissistic they don't expect to be held accountable by objective morality. Sadly for them, truth always wins.
What he uses.
Yes.
No, I mean, it's not. It's literally a self-description.
Did they cover him glowingly?
Was in charge of social media.
Yeah.
And still largely is at Google and Facebook, by the way.
Yeah.
Exactly. This on YouTube right here, it's owned by Google. People like that. Degenerate soy boy drinking latte freaks and feminists that are fat and obese hating the patriarchy. Oh my God, I need another soy latte.
So I'm like, I'm not in favor of human extinction. They are, and they can go to hell.
Yeah,
Well, that guy is.
Hell yeah,
Yeah,
bro.
he can go to hell.
That guy seems silly. I
well,
would like to hang
it's-
out with him, though. I would like to find out what makes him tick. I bet that guy is fascinating. This episode is brought to you.
By the way, guys, Joe Rogan is a liberal. It's crazy how Joe Rogan is a liberal, and they at this point have admitted they've admitted that that they're so extreme that Joe Rogan isn't even a liberal anymore. It's so funny.
Thousands of
Well,
if you get him alone for a few days.
I mean, I'm in favor of. I'm pro-environment, but the in the limit.
This man has done more for the environment than the entire caucus of left-wing degenerates combined.
If you take environmentalism to an extreme, you start to view humanity as a plague on the surface of the earth, like a mold or something.
Listen, there are religious people that say that the left is worshiping a ancient earth goddess deity, and that's what's driving that. I'm just saying. Remember, you might say, oh, that's silly, but then why are they worshiping and burning like effigies in the woods? Why are they gathering to do crazy stuff like that? Like you can't just dismiss it. You have to take that seriously at that point, right? Because they're gathering to do that. Remember Bohemian Grove?
Right.
But this is actually false. The Earth could take probably 10 times the current civilization.
Right.
The population.
No, more than 10 times. There's no constraint on human ingenuity, bro. Okay, the sun releases. If we had a Dyson sphere, we could power like 4 quadrillion people, bro. In 1 second, the sun releases more energy than humanity has consumed in its entire lifetime.
Population you could 10x the population without destroying the rainforest. So
Right.
the environmental
Correct.
movement, and I'm an environmentalist, has gone
Right.
too far. They've gone way too far.
Right.
If you start thinking that humans are bad, then the natural conclusion is humans should die out. Now, I'm headed to an.
That is the definition of demonic, bro. That is the definition of evil. The left is aligned with anti-humanity. That's wanting death for humanity, dude. That is, you'd want humanity to flourish. Why wouldn't you want humanity to flourish? Because you hate yourself. Because your brain is ravaged with resentment for everything. Dude, if you find yourself wishing that there were less humans on Earth, you got to wake up. You got to realize, wait a second, something's gone wrong. I'm a resentful wreck. If that's where you are, God help you.